Space tourism gets a boost as billionaire lays out his plan to orbit Mars by 2018. Andy Pastor joins me with the exclusive story. Andy, thanks so much for joining us from Los Angeles this morning.
My pleasure.
So tell us who's behind this ambitious mission to Mars.
So this is quite an inspirational idea, and it was conceived as a way to excite students, excite young people, and show America's supremacy in space. And the reason to do it in 2018 is because of the position of the planets. This kind of a flyby or swing by Mars, not actually a full orbit, would be easier to do in 2018 because there would be it would be a faster trip than otherwise. So the only problem is that it's going to be announced today, but unfortunately the company that was going to provide the rocket and the spacecraft for this mission, Space Exploration Technologies Corp., Elon Musk's company, has pulled out. So this is a great idea, getting a lot of attention, but at this point, no firm financing plan and really not a firm plan about the equipment they will use.
Why'd they pull out, Andy? Why did they decide this wasn't something they wanted to pursue?
That's the big question in the space industry, one of the big questions. Not clear. They have a lot of things on their plate. They have a lot of government programs to do. They have some private launches that they want to do. But on the other hand, I would say this is a very risky mission. Lots of radiation on the way to Mars. This could be, unfortunately, a very dangerous one. And it could be that SpaceX decided they just didn't want to be involved at this point in something that could really turn into a pretty sad situation, not a success.
Right. And with no U.S. government missions planned for at least 10 years, we know the White House and NASA have been criticized for having no clear plan. So is it possible he could find support elsewhere and this could go forward?
Well, I think it certainly is, and I think Mr. Tito has shown that he's very interested in space and able to raise money, and he's willing to put up a significant amount of his own money, as much as $100 million, if you believe some industry officials who've dealt with the people around him. So I think it is possible that he could pull this off, but it's a very difficult project with a lot of risk, and unfortunately at this point it doesn't look like he has a clear path. Which is always necessary to try to raise a lot of money.
Right, and what would be the specific goals he would be trying to accomplish if he were to get this rocket and get this mission moving forward? What is he hoping to achieve with circling Mars?
Well, certainly, primarily, it would be to show that we can do it. That would be the biggest and most important goal. But other than that, there are lots of things you can learn from the way people live in space, to protecting them from radiation, to exercise, to effects on their health, and something about orbital mechanics as well. But I think primarily this would be show the flag kind of mission expedition, which would say we can do it and we'll be back and we'll have some people who may even be able to land on the planet much further down the road.
And I know Mr. Tito is said to be the first space tourist. Do you think that there will be more of this going forward, more private missions, more people with lots of money to spend looking to go into space on their own?
Yes, I think you're already seeing that, but of course most of the space missions that are getting private funding and interest are much shorter in duration. These would be the thrill rides to go just into the edge of space where people would be weightless. Those are Virgin Galactic and Sir Richard Branson and some other projects that are trying to attract those kind of tourists. So I think that's in the works. That's definitely going to happen, but that is a long, long way, if you will, from those kinds of missions to going to Mars for 17 months on a round trip in a small capsule with two of you dependent on the life systems of that capsule. That's a big difference.
Wow, the final frontier. Okay, Andy, thanks so much for joining us this morning.